Subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you never miss any updates. Since ancient times, humans have been curious about our universe. It was necessary to find out about the unknown beyond the boundary of the window. Even in the ancient times, people kept thinking about the mysteries ahead. What is the mystery of these stars? Where are they and how were they born? How do so many stars form and how do they die? So let's try to understand today, with the help of our universe, the place where stars are born and how they die. And I am your friend Shashi. In today's episode, we will learn about nebulae. Far beyond the boundaries of our solar system, there is a region of space where only deep darkness prevails. And if we go even further, it's the space between galaxies. We call this space interstellar space. Earlier, we used to think of interstellar space as completely empty, but today we know that even in interstellar space, gas, dust particles, and radiation are also found. In this interstellar medium, about 99% is gas. In this gas, about 75% is hydrogen and the remaining 25% is helium. When we look closely, we find that this is interstellar gas. If there is any interaction due to mutual gravitational attraction, then this gas gets disturbed. A nebula is named after the Latin word for cloud or fog. And in this way, nebulae are formed from the clouds of interstellar dust, hydrogen, helium, and other ionized gases. First, nothing could be seen clearly on a large scale through the telescope. Astronomical objects and galaxies were also considered nebulae, especially in the earlier times when there was no clear definition of galaxies. We used to call our own Milky Way galaxy the Andromeda Nebula, and other spiral galaxies were also called spiral nebulae. Now, nebulae are considered to be clouds of gas in our universe, and they are so big that they can be seen easily with the naked eye. That's why we have known about nebulae since ancient times, 150 AD. So Ptolemy mentioned the existence of nebulae in his book Almagest. He also mentioned the presence of nebulae in the constellations of Ursa Major and Leo. A Persian astronomer, Al-Rahman al-Sufi, also wrote about it in his book. In the fixed stars, Andromeda galaxy was called a cloud nebula, and he also gave the name of the nebula star to several star clusters. On July 4th, 1054, a supernova was observed, which led to the discovery of the Crab Nebula. It was also seen from our Earth and it was recorded by Arabic and Chinese astronomers. In the 17th century, in 1610, Nicolaus Clavius observed the Orion Nebula through a telescope, but its detailed study was done by Christian Huygens 49 years later. And after this, Anko-Mahan astronomers and scientists considered Anko Nebula to be Altide's discovery. These great scientists and astronomers, Edmund Halley, William Herschel, and his son Caroline Herschel, William Huggins, and Edwin Hubble were all famous personalities. Nebulae are those places in our universe where stars are born when the interstellar gas of a nebula collects at a point due to gravitational attraction. And day by day, the pressure increases so much at that point that nuclear fusion starts in the hydrogen present at that point and a new star is born, but this process is very slow. Nebulae are very large in size. Sometimes the diameter of a nebula can be even more than a light year. But do you have any idea how dense a nebula is? According to our textbooks, the density on the sea level is 30, while on the continental molecule, it is measured in centimeters cubed. You probably don't know this, but the density of a nebula is much lower than even the vacuum we create in the lab. But even the density of the interstellar medium is much lower than any vacuum we can create on Earth. Now, if we talk about a molecule is made up of a centimeter cubed. We can estimate its low density from this fact. If we separate the particles of the cloud, according to the example of the Earth, then their total weight will be just a few kilograms. Nebulae also form when hydrogen and other gases collide following the explosion of a hydrogen atom. Some nebulae can even be seen from Earth with the naked eye. Orion Nebula. In our sky, it is the brightest of all. This nebula gives us a glimpse of the process of forming 2 times the mass of our sun. लेकिन पहले एस्ट्रोनॉमर्स अरे नेबुला को नहीं देख पाए थे. Eagle Nebula is a region of gas and dust where new stars are being born. In the delicate fabric of time, new threads slowly weave themselves. Apart from Trocheculi in the magical nebula, happiness is current in the magical nebula, second in the magical nebula, next in the magical nebula, next. No one finds a valid band in Jinky. Carina Nebula is also a diffuse nebula. Diffuse nebulae are further divided into 2 types: emission nebula and reflection nebula. Emission nebulae mostly contain ionized hydrogen, and this ionized hydrogen also emits spectral line radiation. Because of the presence of ionized hydrogen in these nebulae, they are also called HII regions. These reflection nebulae do not emit any light radiation, but they still shine. Because reflection nebulae reflect the light of nearby stars, dark nebulae appear in other places. These nebulae do not emit any visible radiation or light, nor do they reflect the light coming from any star. These interstellar clouds are so dense that they even block the light coming from the stars behind them while exploring. Like dark nebulae, due to increased infrared radiation, sometimes even planetary nebulae can appear as a faint, less bright star at the edge of their shell. It looks like a red giant. It appears to be shedding its outer layers slowly. As a result, these outer layers form a large shell of gas around it in space, which becomes a nebula for a while, and the remaining core of the star becomes a white dwarf, which makes this nebula visible due to radiation. Our sun will also form a planetary nebula on its last stage about 12 billion years after its birth. And after this, we come to the next and 4th number. Supernova remnant nebulas at the last stage of their life. When a massive star undergoes a supernova explosion, the outer layers of the star are blown into space and its core can get converted into a neutron star. These layers and the dust that was produced by that supernova explosion was scattered. This is the remnant of a nebula, which we call the supernova remnant nebula. In this way, the Crab Nebula was formed from a supernova explosion. Let's move on. We learn more about such things in nebulas. This is the Omega Nebula, which is an emission nebula. Here, a large amount of ionized hydrogen is present. This is the brightest star-forming region in our galaxy. These are the areas where stars are born, and this nebula is visible because of the light emitted by these young stars. This nebula is located at a distance of about 5,000 to 6,000 light years from our Earth. This is the Horsehead Nebula, which is a dark nebula. In this nebula, you can find more than 100 types of organic, inorganic, and dust particles. This nebula does not emit any light, nor does it reflect it. That's why it is dark. In the background of this, hydrogen gas has become ionized due to a big star called Sigma and ionization, and that's why its background is bright. This is that part of the Eagle Nebula where stars are being born. This part is also called the Pillars of Creation. Located about 7,000 light years away from our Earth, this emission nebula is also known as the Star Queen Nebula. This is the Cat-Eye Nebula, which is a planetary nebula. Inside this nebula, there is a white dwarf, which is eventually going to become just like our sun one day. And this is Tycho. The supernova remnant nebula is what remains when a supermassive star explodes as a supernova. This nebula also forms when a star dies, and from it, some nebulae go on to give birth to new stars and planets. If we talk further in simple words, a nebula is not just the result of a star's evolution, but it can also be the beginning of a star's evolution. Interstellar gas and dust are present everywhere in our universe, but the universe only recognizes them as a nebula when that gas and dust come together in a certain way to form a nebula. Friends, for today, I just hope that you like this video. If you like this video, then please like and share it. Similarly, for more such videos, please subscribe to our channel.